Lamborghini. Just the name itself brings up images of ridiculous speed, wild designs, and those screaming V12 engines. I mean, they are the very definition of excess, which makes you wonder, why in the world isn't this legendary brand competing on the biggest stage in all of motorsport, Formula One? You'd think it would be a perfect match, right? The most outrageous car brand on the planet in the most glamorous high-tech racing series in the world. But they're not there. They're nowhere to be found on the grid. It's a real head-scratcher. But get this, they have been there before. Yeah, back in the late 80s and early 90s, Lamborghini was actually supplying engines to F1 teams. They even had the secret test with the legend himself, Ayrton Senna, who apparently loved their V12. So they've had a taste of the big leagues, which honestly just makes their absence today even more of a puzzle. Okay, let's dive into this. Because the reason Lamborghini isn't in F1 has nothing to do with them not wanting to or not being able to. It's a series of very deliberate, very calculated choices. And once you see the logic behind it, it all starts to make a weird kind of sense. So, the first, and you could argue the biggest, piece of this whole puzzle is figuring out who signs the checks. Since way back in 1998, Lamborghini has been owned by Audi, and Audi is part of the gigantic Volkswagen Group. And in a family that big, you don't just get to do whatever you feel like. See, the Volkswagen Group is a master of brand management. They don't want their own premium brands tripping over each other, fighting for the same spotlight. So they've set up this really clear division of labor. Porsche, they get endurance racing and Formula E. Audi has its own legendary history in endurance racing, and Lamborghini, their mission is to go out and totally dominate the world of GT racing. This whole strategy just makes sure every brand gets its own stage to be a hero on. All right, so you've got the corporate strategy, but let's just pretend for a second that Lamborghini could convince the bosses to let them go play in F1. There's another massive wall they'd have to climb, the absolutely eye-watering cost of Formula One. $250 million. That is a rough average of what it costs to run a decent F1 team for a single year. This isn't a one-time fee to join the club. It's basically a $250 million a year subscription. For a company like Lamborghini, which, let's be honest, sells a pretty small number of cars, trying to justify that kind of spending year after year, it's just an incredibly tough sell. Now, for the third reason, and this one really gets to the very heart of what a Lamborghini is. There's this fundamental clash between the soul of Lamborghini and the science of modern Formula One. So, modern F1, it's this world of mind-blowing efficiency. The teams are running these quiet, incredibly complex 1.6-liter V6 hybrid engines. It's all about energy recovery and sustainability. And then you've got Lamborghini. They are all about the raw, emotional, scream-in-your-face thrill of a naturally aspirated V10 or V12 engine. A marketing campaign built around a tiny, efficient V6, it's just not in their DNA. It's a total clash of philosophies. Okay, so this brings us to the final, decisive clue in this whole mystery. We know the VW Group has a master plan. We know they assign roles to each brand. We know someone in that massive family has the engineering genius and the budget for F1. So if it's not Lamborghini, who gets the nod? And here we have it, the final piece of the puzzle. This is the smoking gun, the one fact that just brings the entire corporate strategy into crystal clear focus. It's Audi. The VW Group has already chosen Lamborghini's parent company to carry the family banner into Formula One starting in 2026. I mean, think about it, funding two separate multi-billion-dollar F1 programs just to have them compete against each other, that would be corporate madness. The decision has been made and Lamborghini is on the outside looking in. So let's just do a quick recap of the whole case, right? Lamborghini isn't in F1 because 1, the VW Group's strategy says no. 2, the costs are absolutely astronomical. 3, it's a fundamental mismatch with their V12-powered brand identity. 4, they're already super successful and it's way more cost-effective for them to focus on GT racing. And 5, the final nail in the coffin, their parent company, Audi, is already taking that F1 spot. At the end of the day, it all comes down to that classic saying, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. Lamborghini's GT racing program is perfect for this. The cars they race, the Huracans, look and feel a lot like the ones you can actually buy. That creates a really direct, powerful link for customers. An F1 program, with its cars that look like spaceships, probably wouldn't sell more road cars. But winning in GT racing, that absolutely does. The return on investment for F1 just isn't there for them. So, what's the ultimate takeaway here? As much as all of us would probably love to see that raging bull on the Formula One grid, this is a perfect case study in how the modern corporate world works. In that high stakes battle between pure brand passion and cold, hard corporate calculus, well, the spreadsheet almost always wins.